is what are your initial impressions of the game overall through this demo?
So I actually was really impressed with this game. So
Yep.
so it should, I mean, it should bear mentioning. My pedigree is very much rooted in ARPGs as well as most of the BioWare titles that have come out.
Yep.
Right? I'm a hardcore RPG guy. Like I've played every single Mass Effect through to completion 3 times. Like this is literally the perfect baby of an ARPG style Diablo experience.
Yep.
And a Mass Effect game.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, there really isn't anything better than those two things together in life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as they execute. So I mean, I'm gonna limit my conversations to the demo at this point because I think our main topic.
Yeah, I think so.
So
yeah.
So if we're just looking at the execution of the demo, the gameplay was fluid. The worlds were stunning, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah. The game's beautiful. The game's beautiful. Straight up, the game's beautiful.
The Vista landscapes were just amazing. We're like flying over.
Yeah.
These awe-inspiring views, and just like the controls were great. It was gorgeous. The music was great. The gameplay was fantastic. It was cool. It was fast-paced. It wasn't choppy. Like, there's so many good things that I can say about my impression of the game. I didn't really know a lot coming into it, and I can tell you that I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah. Some comments from chat here. Zach says, I was impressed with the potential for customization of materials, colors, etc. Yes, that's awesome too. Kieran says, vertically is amazeball. So I mean, the vertical scale is fantastic. Controls were great after tweaking. I agree too. Control settings and tweaking your sensitivity is definitely something. If you're gonna play on PC, you have to go in and fix that up and really turn down the sensitivities. I really hope that they get the swimming controls kind of settled down.
I laugh at every single person that complains about swimming, because I guarantee you every single one of played it on PC. So I played on controller.
Yes.
Right? Because that's like, for these types of games, that's my jam. Truthfully, if I could play with a fucking joystick and a mouse, I'd be in heaven.
Yeah.
This like WASD shit is for like just asking for carpal tunnel, right?
Yes.
But I had zero issue with the swimming, with the flying, with anything. Like the controller defaults everything to 30 sensitivity, and it's just a natural flow, I guess, with that, right?
Yeah. So open demo, I am actually going to plug in my controller and play at least 1 or 2 play sessions with controller just to see how it feels. But in terms of swimming, I literally got to the point with the mouse controls with swimming where I would let other people in the Tyrant Mine go all the way to the end, and then I could see their characters on the other side, and then I would just slowly creep through the water because they were all already on the other side, and not even try and navigate myself at all. Because it was it was so bad. It was so bad.
You actually touch on another point, which I think is something that I really liked, but at the same time, they need to tweak a little bit. So I did like that when you were in a proximity to one of your party members, they show up sort of like as a little icon on your mini map or a beacon or whatever that you can follow.
Yeah.
But if they're too far away from you, that beacon disappears.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're in a squad with somebody, I think that needs to be addressed. Like, if somebody goes too far away from me in an open world, I still want to know where they are. I still should be able to look for them on the map, and I should be able to find them. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the gunplay and combat? Since we're going through initial impressions there again.
So it felt, like I said, it felt very familiar, right? It felt very much like a Mass Effect execution, especially with the perspective, right? So for me, that was really nice. I really did enjoy it. Now, I played Interceptor after Ranger, and so what was extremely helpful for me after playing Interceptor was using the controller. It was so simple because you melee almost everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there were so few occasions where I was actually pulling out, where I was actually like pulling out my guns and shooting at shit, because it just didn't make any sense. So I was experimenting with different loadouts to try to, figure out how I can make better use in different ranges, because I found myself basically just like dashing into crap and just, spinning off like an idiot dervish.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. The maneuverability was fantastic. Their little deeks and dodges, you know, like the combat was fast paced. And I found that even when I was playing Ranger, like it was still responsive and like way more responsive than any Mass Effect game previously, right? So that's nice. It's almost like they found that happy balance between, you know, a twitchy FPS and a more, you know, laid back version like Mass Effect.
So for anybody that's familiar with Say No to Rage, aka Lono, I was watching his stream today. He's in the EA Game Changer program, and he basically had the same thoughts. He actually got to see basically the next build of the game, and some end game content. So they got to go on Grandmaster difficulty. Is it called?
Yeah.
They were playing Grandmaster 1 Strongholds. And he, after playing these Grandmaster 1 Strongholds, he said this game is more Division and Diablo than the Destiny and Division comparisons after what he's seen with the content that they got to see during this EA Game Changers sneak peek, I guess you would call it. And Iron Monolith here says to he does Destiny PvE challenges. The demo shows with signs of in-game PvE content, boss designs with various crit spots, mechanical challenges complete, large scale ad clearance to perform, teamwork. And that's the other thing too. My initial thoughts are teamwork is going to be huge when we're talking about Grandmaster 1 to 3, and we're talking high level content for this game. You are going to have to work together. The primers and the detonators are going to have to work together in a very, very fluid way to maximize your damage with the combos, or I think you're going to see a lot of Grandmaster 2 and Grandmaster 3 wipes if you are not working together.
So I know, and everybody that watched you this weekend knows how much of a boner you have for the combo system.
I do. I think the combo system is one of the best parts of the game.
Clearly.
Yeah.
but I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that, you know, more importantly than that, I think that the execution of a team dynamic, and this is where, in my opinion, the Diablo parallel actually comes in really strongly, especially when we're talking about large content.
Completely agree.
Every character has their role to play and their job to accomplish, and I think that the more effective you are at executing and moving around as a group, and doing the things that you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, and the communication between those things is all extremely important. Moving together as a unit is going to be the key. There simply are some enemies or some obstacles that some classes just simply can't deal with, right?
That's true.
As a Colossus, like, try to take down a sniper before he melts your ass.
You can't get close. You can't close.
And
today I played a play session when Little Savage was down for his nap, and I put it in the Discord today. I said 3 Colossus and a Ranger doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. So you have to have the mix, because there was no way for us when we were doing the Tyrant Mine for anybody to go up and get the snipers. Nobody to go up and get the turrets. There was nobody. We needed a Storm, or we needed an Interceptor to go and get the turrets, to go and get the snipers. Right? And you got three clunky Colossus down on the ground trying to take out all the ground stuff while we're getting hit from the top. It just doesn't work. So the coordination of teams in this game is going to be crazy.
Yeah, and I think that again, like when we're talking about the roles, right? Like,
so sorry, just chat.
So I'm going to go back because Diamond actually made a comment, and he said he played Interceptor as well for a while, and he played it completely different than I did.
Yes.
And we were both still being like super efficient.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important, and different people will naturally gravitate towards different classes, and they'll gravitate towards them for different things.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Like there are some people that want to play Colossuses because they're these huge tanky things that like execute a million combos or set up a bunch of stuff because that's what you want to do. And then there's other people that want to play Colossus and literally just stand there as a shield in front of the Ranger and let the Ranger strategically support and do all the shit that he needs to do and call out to the other teams or whatever. and that's how they want to play, right? And I think that the different loadouts are nice too. All the weapons have different ranges, like and the fact that you've got like multiple different instances of weapons within the same like classification, I think is sick, right? Like you're looking at like the pistols, each one's do different, like one of them does more rate per fire, one of them does more damage, one of them does more range, like assault rifles were big, sniper rifles, it was a huge difference, right? So I think that there's so much of that flexibility that I think that that's going to add to the longevity of the game as well.
I can greatly agree. Yeah. And actually Jodat too was mentioning in the chat here, you can fly with the shield up as Colossus. So maybe you can, but again, you still need that support. You still need that support as a Colossus, because that shield eventually wears out. And if you're way up top with a sniper or with other enemies, and you're by yourself, you're gonna get nailed. You're gonna get nailed.
I think the reality is that if you're by yourself at higher level difficulty, period, you're gonna get nailed.
Exactly.
It doesn't really matter what the hell class you're playing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember when we played it? We played in the afternoon on Friday.
Yes.
And we ended up starting on normal, right? And we came across that we were playing with 2 randoms, I think, at that point, because not everyone had gotten in. And we were trying to kill that big tank boss with all the ads in the back, like Act 2, I think it was.
Yep.
And we got roasted on normal like so many times because we just couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, we wiped 4 times. Yeah.
Right. And then we got in with a crew that we could all communicate with, and we had some experience. We knew what we were doing. We threw it on hard, and we fucking dominated it. But you remember, I made the clear comment to say the AI is way better.
Yes.
Like the difference between normal and hard.
Yep.
The AI of the opponents.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I can be. Yeah. And that's another initial impression too, is that the AI is very, very good. And that this is not just a game where you can just plow in. You have to work together. You have to, and to me, I think higher level content, if we're talking like maybe Grandmaster 2 or Grandmaster 3, again, this is all in the future. We don't know what they're going to bring, but I think everybody on voice comms is going to be needed. And I think you're going to have almost like a powwow in the forge before you leave. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like we're doing this stronghold. We know that this happens, and this happens, and this happens. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who's going to have certain primers? Who's going to have certain detonators? I think you're almost going to have like a pregame at the forge before you go into these strongholds. And the other thing too, we haven't even seen legendary contracts yet, which is another aspect of the end game content of this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's lots of conversation right now in the chat.
Combo weapons,
and all that sort of stuff.
Explosive snipers, OP. I agree. Yeah, I seen lots of. I watched Professor Broman as well too play a sniper storm, and it was freaking OP. Which is actually another kind of initial impressions question I want to hear asked Scott. If you could list from what you've seen, now we only got to play one Javelin, but if you could have a tier list, in your opinion, a 1 to 4 tier list of all the Javelins, where would you put them from going from 4 up?
Sure. So if I have to consider them sort of like in a vacuum, right? Based on what I've seen, and what's neat too is in hard, when you've kind of completed all the story and you're kind of free playing, you almost get to play against versions of them, right?
Yep.
And so Joe, I hate to do this, but like I'm literally stealing exactly what you just said. And I think that the reality is that the top 2, in my opinion, are Storm and Interceptor. And I think it's in that order.
Yep.
But that those swap based on your preference of play style. Like if you like to mix it up and you like to play a little bit faster, then Interceptor probably is going to take the lead for you.
Yeah.
But like the Storm just has such a unique and a varied kit.
Yeah,
that I think that it's definitely more fun. The Ranger,
I think they're actually good. I think they're actually gonna have to tweak some of the Storm's abilities, because I think the Storm right now is just straight up OP.
And trying to play against them too, like it's just brutal, right? But yeah, I think that those are definitely the top 2. I like Ranger before Colossus myself, but
really
because
all right.
But again, like I didn't play Colossus either.
Yep.
So I don't really.
Yep.
I mean, the bottom 2 kind of for me don't rate as high.
Yeah. So for me, yeah, it would go Storm, Interceptor again. Those two are either interchangeable depending on your play style. And then it would go Colossus at number 3 and Ranger at number 4. I just don't think we've seen enough of the Ranger yet in terms of the different elemental grenades and everything that is in the Ranger's kit. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of that at a higher level of content when we play in the open beta. But for me, the Colossus really, for me, it's the group Javelin, right? It's going to be the one that's going to be very hard to solo with, but I think it's going to be almost needed to have a Colossus in the group. So if I were to play I guess like solo, I would definitely go Storm. But if I'm in a group, I want to play Colossus. And the other thing too was, I talked about it over the weekend, was this flamethrower and lightning coil combination. I hated it. I tried it. I played. I hated it. For me, the Colossus, I wanted more. I guess more mid-range. So I went back to the autocannon. I went back to the railgun and the grenade launcher. For me, and the mortars too. I never actually got to try out a flame wall mortar, I think, which would have been interesting. And then the venom spitter I never got to. So there are other options for primer and detonator on the Colossus that I didn't get to try. But I did not like the flamethrower lightning coil combination because you had to get too close. And again, if you weren't supported by your team, you were in close with 3 or 4 enemies, right? And you were lightning coiling and you were flamethrowing, which was great, and you were comboing. But then if there were more ads that came at you, or if there was an elite that came in at you with a shield, and you had no support around you, it was very, very difficult. It was very, very difficult.
Yeah. I think that, like in the grand scheme of things, you really get to play how you want, what you want, how you want. Right. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, that's the really big takeaway here. I don't think Ranger's something to sleep on. I know that.
Oh, neither do I. No.
When we had the full 4 squad up with, I think it was Diamond that was playing with us on Friday night, right?
Yeah.
And we had the full 4 up for the squad, dude. Like it was crazy. The combos were going nuts, and I think that Ranger does a really good job with his like barrier as well to kind of help down to teammates, and does a really good job as well of just helping with that single target. Like when they combo, so whenever you get a combo, there's different things that happen, right? With the different javelins, and the interceptor gets an aura and whatever, but the Ranger does extra damage to whoever it was that they combo with, and I think that that's like super gross. So I think that actually it's going to be the Ranger that's actually the glue within a group, and I think that the best groups you're going to see are the ones and these are going to totally depend on like what environment, what mission and stuff you end up being on.
Exactly. Again, I think
I will be in every single one.
Yes, and I think, like I said before, I think when you get into higher level content, Grandmaster 2, Grandmaster 3, you're going to have to be on voice comms with this game, and you're also going to have like a pre-game like Forge prep talk about what everybody's doing, what their job is. I mean, it's almost like freaking World of Warcraft-esque to talk about it. But I think it's really going to be super, super important. Just kind of getting some stuff out of the chat here. There's a reason there's 4 Javs. A proper group comp is 1 each. Yep, that's right. Yeah, like I said, that the 3 Colossus, 1 Ranger I played in today was terrible. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah. But again, I think it really just comes down to knowing your role.
Yeah.
And I think that as long as you can communicate positioning and move as a team, then I think that's going to be the most important part.
Yeah. And Iron Monolith says here, each Javelin fits different people rather than everyone naturally being able to play everything. And I agree with that. And I think that's something that they've really, really done very, very well.
I agree
with this game. All right, so that's awesome. Yeah. Anything else out of the chat here?
We're good.
Kieran asked, actually, this would be an initial impressions question too. What do you think about starting at levels 10 to 15 and the demo one instead of starting right from the start?
So there's a reason for that, and I found this out from watching some videos and stuff, and it's because at level, like, you don't. I think at level 10 is when all of your items and all of your slots open up. Because like
that's true.
Like, you don't get your second weapon until like level 4. And you know what I mean? Things like that. So I think that 10 to 15 was a good sampling of when you get the actual framework of what it is that you're going to inevitably be working towards. So I think that's why.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. All right.
So what did you think of the crafting system, by the way?
Okay. Crafting system in terms of initial impressions. I thought the crafting system was interesting because it linked in with the achievements.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We discussed this on stream, and actually that was something that I didn't even realize until you told me about it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And I don't feel like the crafting system was very well explained, but there's a reason for that. And as I explained, I think it was on Saturday's broadcast, was they want you to get gear from completing missions and killing enemies. The crafted gear is to be serviceable. It is not to be the main way to get the top level gear or the gear that you need. And they've made that very, very open in any discussion in any dev stream. They do not want crafting to be the main source of gear.
Yeah, so I think that it's interesting because what you don't want is another Destiny fiasco. Right? Like you don't want to, in order to get this new rare gun, you need to play at this exact time on this exact day, or that time and this day with this precise group in this precise place that might spawn if you're lucky, etc., etc., etc. If it's a blood moon on the 4th leap year, like fuck off, right?
Yeah.
But I think that what's neat is that it does allow you to enhance the things that you're already comfortable with doing.
Yes.
Right? So if you like shooting a specific sniper rifle and you're very good at it, then it gives you a methodology to continue your progression along the usage of that without necessarily relying on a drop to find it. And I think that in that instance, I think it's a really neat implementation.